welcome back. We were just talking about China and the visit from their leader. It always brings up the question, when you bring up the topic of China and what power that they've become, it raises the question, is the United States still the world's superpower? What do you think, Liz?
Well, I don't know. I hate to fudge on something like that. I mean, it's certainly the most exceptional country. It's certainly the most powerful military. But by other standards, I don't know whether we do that or not. Trade is the name of the game nowadays, and trade in the Indian Ocean is the name of the game. This is where the power of trade has shifted from the Atlantic to the Indian Ocean. And all those countries that are involved in that area, Africa, the Middle East, are coming alive. So we're going to have to keep up there. I know one thing, though, however, whenever I buy anything in China, it falls apart 48 hours later.
That's very true.
Well, I think our like sole superpower moment is kind of over historically, and as it relates to China.
Well, why do you say that, though?
Well, I mean, clearly economically we're struggling, and clearly there's issues economically.
But so is China.
So is China, yeah. And China, the statistics on poverty in China are daunting, and so are the statistics on how many really old people they're going to have in 2050.
Their history is revolution, and I wouldn't count it out again. Because we always hear about Beijing, and they dress up for the Olympics and all this other stuff. But out in the countryside are still those millions of peasants who are not doing as well. And if they ever start going on the march, God knows what will happen, and inflation could drive them to it.
Well, yeah, but Beijing, I mean, when you talk about a superpower, when's the last time they weighed in on, the Arab-Israeli conflict? I mean, there's different ways to look at superpowers. I don't think they're anxious to lead that.
Well, interestingly, though, our poll question of the day is, what should Chinese and American leaders discuss this week? Because, of course, the leader of China is going to be here for 4 days. Big state dinner tonight. Our respondents say predominantly, 36% say North Korea. That's not a very surprising number, I think. I think that's what people are concerned about. They have influence in North Korea. Currency comes in second, 25% for the most part.
Trade is not glamorous, but boy, it's the key.
North Korea is not glamorous, but boy, that's the key.
That's another perfect example of, another quote-unquote superpower. What's Russia doing about North Korea? Nothing.
Shipping them stuff.
I mean, so there's a lot of different ways to look at what your role is, in the world.
That's right. How many arms can you twist?
Exactly.
On that note, is there anything else you guys would like to discuss before we wrap things up today? I like this sort of free-form kind of thing.
I'd love to talk about an animal story, but I can't think of one at the moment, except that little...
That alpaca story?
Except there was the alpaca story.
What is it? Can I get that tax break in Westchester?
There was a local story about a woman who was a young woman, a gal. She was out on the ice and it fell in.
Oh, I heard about that, yeah.
Right, and she went out there to get her dog. Would you believe there's not a reporter in New York that told you what happened to the dog? That is just a gap in my view.
You don't know what happened to the dog?
I want to know what happened to the dog.
Oh my gosh. Well, I don't know. I'll get in touch with my brother.
The dog what?
The dog was fine.
The dog was
Where
fine.
did you hear that?
The dog is the culprit here. The dog pulled the little girl into the ice.
Well, I know, but
that's the dog.
Yeah, okay.
Now, the dog is safe, and I love animals. I'm just.
Yeah, that could be a dangerous comment. That could be all over the internet.
I love him.
She does love pets. She has a dog.
I do. I love them. Gomez, he's my little son.
Is that his name?
Yeah, that's a Chihuahua. Gomez is 4 pounds. The coolest Chihuahua on the planet, but that's a whole other story. All right, guys, thank you very much for joining us. You are just a spitfire. I love you. And so are you, Eric.
Thank you very much.
You guys are good together. I like it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for joining us today. We'll see you tomorrow.